This is Adam and the Analog, episode 56. This week we're talking about games to pack on our vacation. Hello and welcome to Adamantly Analog, episode 56.
Hello and welcome to Adamantly Analog, episode 56. I'm Harrison. I'm sorry, did I step on your toes there? I'm just really crazy busy, Corey.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I'm getting like ready and packing everything, and I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off.
Well, that's weird because we just discussed how this will be released after the trips are completed, but now we just pulled back the curtain. So I think we have to acknowledge the fact we are recording this in advance of.
I was doing a bit.
Okay, well, you can question reality on this one, but Harrison is or has gone on a trip to Columbus for Origins Game Fair.
Yeah, yep.
Has or will.
And has or will, Corey is going to some place that he has mentioned a couple times. Joshua Tree, maybe?
No, that was last year. We're going to South Dakota.
Okay.
No games there. But the topic of this episode is we're going on a trip. What games do you bring? And I always pack games. All right.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, big or small. I'm going to fit them in my suitcase. It's the first thing to go in there underneath the clothes that I will need to be wearing.
Corey, he's always packing.
That's right.
Games.
But different scenarios call for different types of games. And today we're going to talk about what we're packing for our trips, right? What games are your travel games? Okay. So they have to, they have to fit the crowd you're going to see. They have to be small enough to fit in the luggage. They have to be, I don't know, maybe not a table hog, I suppose, because you never know what space you're going to have.
If any.
If any. Yeah. I mean, can you play them on the airplane on the little tray?
Yep.
I don't know. Could you?
I have a lot of experience with traveling with board games, and I got two pieces of advice. One, if you're flying with anything that has a deck of cards in it, just take the game out of your suitcase if it's in your carry-on and like put it in its own little bin, maybe open the box lid for them, because when that thing goes through the scanner, the X-ray machine, and they just see a dense block of something like cards, they're going to want to look at that. I had a lot of problems flying with my like magic cards in the past. Yeah, that'll get you stopped at security almost every time. So now whenever I travel, with a board game, I like take it out and put it in its own little bin. And occasionally you'll get a TSA agent that's like, "Oh, I love that game. That's cool."
Oh, okay. I was wondering if you've ever encountered a moment where they're like manhandling your deck and you're like, "No, that's Liliana the Veil. Put it back in the sleeve."
No. The other one, I haven't witnessed this firsthand, but I've heard several horror stories now. If you buy the newish game, Things in Rings, definitely take that one out and put it in a separate bag, open it up, because on a little like X-ray machine, not only does that have a deck of cards in it, but it's also got a bunch of like coiled ropes in it that when you tightly pack them in a corner, it looks like wires on an X-ray machine, and it looks like a bomb.
Oh wow.
So don't travel with Things in Rings if you can help it, and if you do, take it out of the box for going through security checks. Yeah.
I'm surprised. I've never heard that about decks of cards. I could see them. There it is again.
Corey just got a thumbs down from Discord.
What in the heck is happening? Is it my head? Oh
Who
my
knows?
gosh. I don't know. I just totally lost my train of thought from that. But yeah, decks of cards and TSA, thumbs down. Okay. Wow, our Discord is haunted, you guys.
Yeah. All right. Pivoting the episode, haunted Discord games. Let's go.
Yeah, speaking of, what have you been playing this week?
So just last night, I got a chance to finally play the expansion for Revive. I've talked about Revive a couple times on the podcast here. This is one of like my favorite super heavy Euros of recent years, about exploring tiles and rebuilding civilization after, a millennia's ice age or something. I don't know. It's a post-apocalyptic game. But it's got tons of tracks and asymmetric player powers, and it's a very satisfying package that I really enjoy. And there's an expansion called Call of the Abyss, which adds jellyfish people. I guess that's the best way to put it. There's these lakes that have jellyfish and you can worship them, and then they give you cool cards that are jellyfish people. Um, and overall, I I don't think I liked it
Oh,
that
really?
much. Really,
Hmm.
yeah, I really like Revive, and this just felt like it was pulling me in a little too many directions. If it was just the cool bonus cards, I think I would like it, but it adds so much to the other parts of the game to try to integrate that it just
Hmm.
ends up feeling like too much.
Hmm.
Like you can get devotion by specific cards that are now mixed into the citizens deck. You can uh, get devotion by building next to these lake tiles, which replace three of the tiles on the board. You can get it by going on a journey, which is like a new card culling mechanism, but the restrictions on it are so difficult that only one person did it by the end of the game. It was kind of weird. So
Yeah.
it adds quite a lot. I should try it again, but it just makes me want to play regular Revive with the base game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got a good review on BGG, but I wonder, like, with expansions, it doesn't really tell you the tale, because if you're here, you probably already bought the base game and you like it, because otherwise
Right.
why would you have the expansion anyway?
Right, exactly. So, I'm a little bit on the fence about it. I
Okay.
did not put it back together in the same box, so that's maybe an indicator that I don't want to try it again, but we'll see.
Oh. Have
Yeah.
have you ever played the campaign stuff in Revive?
Uh, Technically, yes. I played the first game as they describe it, and then I played the second game as they describe it, and then I was like, okay, you're just onboarding me with new rules, and
Mm,
it didn't feel like a campaign.
gotcha.
Like I didn't bother reading any of the text. It's just some of the rules are on cards, and some of the rules are in the rule book. I think it's a neat idea, but I don't think it was necessary.
Yeah. Sometimes those things can feel a little shoehorned in. I don't know about that one, but like Maracaibo has the campaign, and it's just like
Mm,
it slightly alters the experience each time you play it. I don't know if it's really necessary, but it's fun that it exists.
yeah.
Okay, well, speaking of I played a game as well, Harrison. I played Rebirth, which is
Oh,
nothing like Revive, but it is really pretty looking. It is a Reiner Knizia game from 2024. And I've
yeah.
been wanting to play this since Gen Con of last year, where they didn't actually have it available to purchase yet. But fortunately, my friend Anthony has all of the newest games. And I mean, okay, if you look at a picture of this one, it's like hard not to be interested because it's so bright and colorful and the art
Yeah.
is so cool. Um, it is this sort of future. It is post-apocalyptic. Your rebirth. It's like rebuilding the world. You're looking at Scotland on one side of the map and Ireland on the other. And the concept of this game is you, on your turn, flip over one of your color coded tiles and you put it anywhere on the map. That's your turn. And
Yep.
it's really pretty simple, but it is so open ended that at any point you have about, 300 possible decisions because of it can literally go almost anywhere. There's different kinds of tiles. There's power plants, farms, and there are buildings or houses, I suppose. And there's restrictions on how those get placed and how they score. Power plants and farms are, generally speaking, just they score based on adjacency. Different elements and different features on the map cause you to make decisions in different ways. And beyond that, there's two different sides, like I mentioned, with different rules too. And so Ireland tends to be, I think it's Ireland, tends to be the actual game, it feels like. And Scotland's kind of like this watered down introductory version of it. And I
Mm,
might have that backwards. I think I got that right. But on Scotland, anytime you place what's called like a cathedral token, you get to draw a card, and that card has some secret scoring on it where it's like, have the most of this feature, have the most of this feature. And so basically you're accruing like different opportunities to score 5 points every time you draw one of those. On the opposite side of the map, you don't place those tokens on the board at all, and instead there's like a public market of cards on the top, and it's a race to beat other players to those scoring conditions. And then when you
mm,
do, then you place the tokens on those cards, which seems much more competitive and much less random. Kind of, like
yeah.
in Ticket to Ride, where you draw a scoring card at the end, and you're like, oh, I already have that route, 15 points. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
That kind of happened a lot with the Scotland board. So if you do play this game, I would jump right to Ireland because it is really not all that complicated to begin with. I think anyone could handle the added like 5 more minutes of rules teach for the better experience. But it was fun. It was cool. Very competitive. Like you said, it caused a little AP with the decisions, but I don't know, it was like your typical Reiner Knizia game, just like really refined and really distilled down to like its core most important elements.
Yeah, hearing you describe that makes me a little more interested in this one now. I was initially kind of pushed away from it just because I didn't like Cascadero that much, and
Mm,
I don't like Through the Desert. I've played that a couple times now, and I get overwhelmed by the just kind of open-endedness of it
yeah,
and how confrontational it can be.
sure.
But the way that you're describing this and looking at the pictures on BGG, I feel like I should give it a try at least. So
Yeah.
I know our resident Reiner Knizia fan has brought it a couple times and played it a few times, and I've not joined in, but I should do that.
So, anyways, that's Rebirth, and then we also played another newer release, but not a new game. But Parks Second Edition recently came out. But Parks is known as like this really high quality production, and I mean it is. It's like really cool. Everything about it. The art is great. The organizers in the box are really fantastic. All the bits are wood. Really cool game. The second edition is no exception to that, but it was kind of like everything's been left behind. It's like all new stuff. They did it all over again.
Hmm.
Um, it's a bigger box. So speaking of travel games this week, this one is less travelable. But what it does is it takes the expansion from Parks, the Nightfall expansion, and it lodges it into the base game box, and you can either use it or not, but it's there. And it added a couple of new rules, including a die that you roll, which I'm not so fond of because it's just more random.
Yeah.
But we played the game. It wasn't too much of a big difference from the rules of the original. There's some other subtle things like the track doesn't change length; it's always the same length. It's kind of static. It's fixed. Whereas the original one, you kind of shuffle the tiles and you randomly put them out.
Yeah.
But after playing this one, I was kind of like, yeah, Parks is cool, but it doesn't really do much for me. I'm not a huge fan of the game. There's a lot of times where it's your turn to go and you really don't have many decisions to make. It's like, okay, there's this one space here, or I go to the end of the track and I'm just done. And sometimes you just get stuck. You just go to the end of the track and you're waiting for the next 10 turns for the rest of the players to just kind of limp along. It just
Hmm.
worked out better for them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a cool game, but it I think you said it right there. That just doesn't do much for me either. Um, I got a copy from I think Gen Con last year. I think I just got one in a trade, and I was excited to share it with Lauren because we usually tend to like these later games and things. And I'd played
Hmm.
it before, and I thought it was okay on my first play, but I played with that nighttime expansion too.
Yeah.
And then we
Nightfall.
went to a cookout party at for Thunderworks, and somebody taught us there, and Lauren was just like, "That was boring,"
Mhm.
and I was like, "Okay, I get it." So I've got a like new copy that needs a home.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna get rid of mine too, unfortunately. But and the
Boy,
thing
we need
is
to
it
be
light?
more positive on this podcast.
Oh
We just
yeah,
got
well we're you know,
3 lukewarm reviews.
yeah. You mentioned it's a lighter game. Is it light though? It's like the theme is accessible, but it's not really quick to learn. And I think people that don't play board games very often will be like, "Oh my god, this is so complicated."
I guess the decision space is pretty narrow. Like,
Yeah,
the thing that you're doing turn to turn is pretty easy to figure out, even if it was, if it's hard to really know what is right or wrong, or I don't know.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, compared to Revive, it's light, but it's got a
Yes,
lot to
yes.
teach still, a lot to learn.
I tell you, I've got that revive teach down pat. I had to
Yeah,
refresh 2 people on the rules before we did Call of the Abyss, and that was a clean teach. I like that one.
nice. All right, we're talking about our favorite vacation themed games today. And I didn't write a first player rule up here. Wait, vacation themed games? Is that right?
You copied the notes from our space themed games, and then I just swapped the word for
Uh,
space for vacation. So
oh, okay. Let me try that again. Our favorite games to take on vacation.
there you go.
Harrison, we don't have a first player rule, but if you would just go down to the other links and click on important matter, you'll have a way to decide who goes first.
Okay, clicking now. Oh, shoot. No. Well, I'll be back in 3 minutes and 33 seconds while I eat my comeuppance here.
Is that how long Never Gonna Give You Up is?
It is, yeah. At
3:34.
least that
Yeah.
version that you linked to me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess you can go first then.
Okay.
That's how we decide today.
So my first pick. So we have talked about this game quite a few times, and I think you've even done a video review for it on
Yeah.
the old YouTube channel. But I want to paint you a picture because the place that I want to play this game is up north. So, we live in the Midwest here. Wisconsin, specifically up north, is a very specific destination.
Mm,
Northern Wisconsin, cabin in the woods type thing, everything quiet, far removed from civilization. And last week we talked about like, oh, this would be ideal. Let's go play board games. And I think I want to go up north to play board games and just be removed from
mhm.
everything. So I imagine waking up spring or summer, grabbing a coffee, going out to sit by the lake and just enjoying the quiet, and then maybe pulling up a little side table and playing A Gentle Rain by myself, just
Yeah.
in the quiet. And I imagine this total zen experience of just the quiet outdoors, a nice coffee, and a gentle rain.
Mosquitoes suck in your blood.
Yeah, I would probably go inside like within minutes because I get a real bad reaction to mosquito bites. Like I get giant welts. It's pretty bad. Um, so a gentle rain is a solo or cooperative tile laying game that kind of plays out like a puzzle where you're fitting together these uh, tiles with different colored flowers on them, and you have to match up the flowers. And when you make a grid of four of them, then you can place a matching flower disc or piece in the middle, and your goal is to play was it all seven or eight of those discs before you run out of tiles. And
8 of
it's
them.
just eight of them. Yeah, it's a very just relaxing, chill experience, and I think that'd be very nice to do where there's nothing around you at all except for nature. Right? That sounds
Mhm.
fun.
Yeah, I'm down.
As a kid, I never appreciated that. My family had a cottage up in northern Wisconsin, like 10 minutes from the Michigan border. And we would go up once or twice a summer. It's like a 4.5, 5 hour drive. And I was just like, oh, such a long drive. And there's no video games. And
Hmm.
I didn't get it. And now as an adult, I'm like, I'm a board gamer. That sounds amazing. Let's just pack up like the entire shelf and go live up there and then just play board games all the time. So,
Yeah. It'd be the dream. It's like I just hope the power goes out, right?
right.
Just like light some candles and play games, you know? We'll
yeah,
make it work.
Yeah,
Just disconnect.
in the work from home scenario, like the one day the power went out, I was like, "Yes, let's play board
Yeah.
games."
Yeah, we got the day off.
Yeah, so that is my number one pick, A Gentle Rain.
Ah, nice. Okay, so you've kind of like raised the ante here a little bit. It's just talking about the location that you would play these games.
Oh yeah,
I'll come up with some. Um, my first pick, and I kind of thought about this specific scenario where I'm going on a trip, or I have been on a trip, depending on your matter of perspective on what time is anymore. But Nikki and I were going on a trip together, it's just the two of us. So I'm thinking, okay, which games can you play with two players? Which games are easy to pack? Which games have a small footprint? Like they don't take up a lot of table space. So I brought Terraforming Mars. Just kidding. uh, no, so the first one on my list is Fox in the Forest Duet from 2020 from Renegade Games, and I also have Fox in the Forest not Duet, but it also happens to be a two-player game.
yes, yeah,
So it's a little confusing, and either of them are good choices. But Duet is the cooperative version of Fox in the Forest, which is a trick-taking game for two players. Fox in the Forest, the base game is confrontational. You're trying to beat the other player, but in this one, you're trying to cooperate to give the tricks to the players that need them at the right times because there's this central path that you're trying to go down, and if a player wins a trick they're going to advance the player marker towards them on that path equal to the number of spaces as shown by the paw prints on the cards. And so then all the odd cards have different like abilities and stuff that they can swap the trump card with the card in your hand and so on and so forth. So lots of cool little clever things you can do. Where are we going to play this? Actually, probably at the airport. I mean, we're not flying, but I guess maybe at a gas station or something if we take a break. But I'm just thinking this is the game. in my entire shelf, I'm thinking which game takes up the least amount of space, and this is the one because it's just a little tiny board, and all you have to do is play your tricks into one single pile, and that's all you really need.
Hmm.
So you
Yeah.
could almost do it on the tray table in an airplane too if it doesn't bump around too much. But um, yeah,
Yeah. Not
nice and
during
easy.
takeoff or landing.
Yeah, no, yeah, you're supposed to have that up anyway until you
Yeah.
get into
Oh, yeah, yeah,
altitude.
yeah. Right, right, right. Of
Yeah,
course. I've traveled by plane before.
yeah. So, anyways, Fox in the Forest Duet is my first pick.
All right. So I wanted to lean into this like telling a story bit because that's where I sourced my inspiration for these games. So the second game that I'm bringing along would be on a vacation that is one of those like big group vacations with friends, maybe for like a bachelor party in Hawaii or like I don't know, everyone flying down to Mexico for the weekend because I guess people our age sometimes do that. No, people younger than me generally do that. I have a group of friends that just regularly goes off to Mexico and has a weekend, and I'm just like, oh, okay. We live very different lifestyles. But if I was one of those people, long story short, I would bring Flip 7. So I'm imagining I'm with a big group of people. I don't know how many people are going to be around or available at any given time. We may be in a bar, we may be on the dance floor, we may be on the beach, but Flip 7, that thing plays anywhere. I have played this standing in a convention because you just need, as long as you can fan the cards out in front of you, you can play it.
Yeah.
Um, so Flip 7 is released last year from the op. It touts itself, advertises itself as the greatest card game of all time, and I scoffed at that the first time I read it, and the second and the third time, and now I've just kind of accepted it. And this is just it's a super versatile game, very easy to teach and to pull out. I've taught it to non-gamers. I've taught it to uh, people of all ages. It's a lot of fun to just flip a card, and then you decide if you want another card. And if you get duplicates, you're out. And if you get 7 unique numbers, you score big. It's nice and easy, a lot of fun.
Cool. That could be one that you meet some folks and you're like, "Hey, you wanna play a game? It's easy to learn. Don't be
Yeah.
scared." And then you're like, "We'll meet you in the hotel lobby in an hour. I'll bring Flip 7."
Yep. Yeah. That's exactly it. That does remind me. When I went to I had to fly for work, like the first time that I got a new job. When I started working with John at my old
Mhm.
job, they flew us down to Texas for like this introduction seminar thing, and I brought a copy of Carcassonne, and we played it in the hotel lobby with two like complete strangers, and it was the weirdest thing ever, but it was a lot of fun. So
That's awesome.
Carcassonne was almost on my list.
Yeah.
So that is my actual pick, Flip 7.
All right. My pick number 2 is Kinfire Delve, and this is largely just the Kinfire Delve series. There are 3 games: Scorn Stockade, Vainglory's Grotto, and Callous Lab, and all 3 of them are good choices. They're just different characters, basically. But another incredible dream game. That's 2 on the list today. And this one I will say is another one that was a review copy that we got. But I could see Kinfire Delve being a really good fit for, you wake up in the morning, you could have a cup of coffee, you could play a solo game of this, just chill, wait for everyone else to kind of get ready for the day. Or if someone else is like, hey, I'm also up, I've also got a cup of coffee, you could bring a partner and you could play cooperative. And even better, if you've got 2 boxes, you can play 3 players or 4 players. I don't think you go beyond that, but this is a really good solo game. You're kind of doing a dungeon delve with yourself or another player that can support you by boosting your skill checks, but once again does not require a whole lot of space. You're setting up 4 different stacks of challenges, each with different suits, and the cards in your hand have suits as well, and numerical values and abilities, and that is how much progress you can take off of the challenges that are in front of you. So of course you roll a die and add a couple extra points to that, and hopefully you can complete the challenge in one go. Because if you don't, they have some detrimental effect that will cause you some misery. These games are really cool. I'm always excited about the tactile part of it because they're like really high quality. The art is really awesome. There's this cool gilded foiling on the back of the cards, and I imagine if I'm just sitting down playing this game in the morning, drinking my coffee, and someone's like, "Hey, what's that? That looks sweet." I'm like, well, sit down. I'll teach you. and I think it's like a maybe 10, 15 minute teach tops to get someone up and running with you.
Yeah, yeah, it is pretty quick and easy to get that thing going. Um, the I was the first time I played this, Kinfire Delve, I was it kinda scratched something. It opened up my eyes to this concept of the single deck game, right?
Yeah.
Like a dungeon thing that you're just kinda going through, and I think this, like, it's it opened my eyes, it introduced me to the concept, it made me want more, but this didn't quite do it for me, and I think I'm still in search
Hmm.
of something that does this, but in a little bit of a different way.
All right, so that is my second pick, Kinfire Delve.
All right, so my third and final pick. I'm taking this on the family vacation. I don't mean just Lauren and I. I mean like we get to go to some destination with aunts and uncles and cousins and brothers and sisters and like the big family vacation. And I have a very specific memory of playing cards. This is after all the kids have gone to bed and the adults stay up late. They section off into their own groups.
Mm,
Maybe the uncles are all drinking on the porch or having a martini or something, and there's just a group of us huddled around the kitchen table playing Scout. I
yeah.
imagine you just sit and you play, and it could really be any game that allows you to take turns and when it's your turn, play your cards, do your thing. But otherwise we can all just kind of chit chat. Like there's no real time pressure. There's no huge focus required simultaneously from the whole table. So you can really just have enjoy the atmosphere and have a almost a beer and pretzels type game.
Yeah.
And it appeals to the folks who like their traditional card games because it has a lot of things in common with in the feel of that. And boy, Oink Games, I mean pretty much anything from the Oink game library that travels very, very well. So that is my third pick, Scout, from Oink Games. I should talk about the game, like just in case no one's ever heard of Scout.
Yeah.
We've talked about it a few times. Scout is a card shedding game, so you get a hand of cards and you have to try to get rid of all of them before everyone else. Um, and you can only play cards that are in runs or sets. So increasing or decreasing runs or the same number. Uh, and they have to be next to each other in your hand. You're not allowed to change the order of your hand. So you play something, but it also has to be better than the set or run that the previous player played. So you're always trying to one up each other. And if you can't do that, then you have to scout and take one of the cards from the hand that is better than yours. But you can put it anywhere you want in your hand, so that can kind of modify things. So you have to draw a card, but you get to choose where it goes, and that can help you uh, make a better hand next round. And it plays super smooth. It's a little bit weird to teach at first, but once people get it, they really get into it. And the cool double-sided cards, they're vertical flipping. They have two different values on it. Gives you a lot of opportunities to fiddle around with a limited number of components.
Yeah. This
So
this is very familiar to anyone that's played any 52 card deck game.
yes, yeah, it
It's
feels
very
it feels very similar.
yeah.
Uh, Although all the cards have names and like positions in a circus, which is kind of weird, but
Yeah. Love that.
it yeah, it's kind of fun to say
Mhm.
the names and be like, "Oh, my Javier beats your Susan."
Uh-huh.
'Cause I just pulled two names out of there.
Yeah. Have you played any other Oink games?
I have. I've played a few of them.
Okay.
I have a fake artist goes to New York, so I have two of them. And then I played one other one. Oh gosh,
Deep
I'm gonna
Sea
forget it now.
Diver or Deep Sea Adventure?
No, not I've seen that one played several times, but I haven't played it. But yeah, Oink games are super cool. They're a studio out of Japan, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. And all of their games are the same form factor. They're all these very tiny, like bright and colorful boxes with similar graphic design.
Yeah.
Um,
About a
and
juice
they're
box size.
yeah, no, juice box is that's a good way of putting it. They're very, very cool.
Yeah, although I got Scout from Target and it's not the same shape. So there is a big box retailer version of it, and it's just kind of it's a stupid little box like this that you have to jam the cards back in. So I got rid of that real quick. Yeah, good games. Any of those are good choices, I think, for travel because they're so compact and
Yeah.
usually pretty social in nature. Okay, so I took a page out of your book, Harrison, for my third pick, and I think that I need to cover the family vacation kind of travel. And what better thing to do with your family than accuse each other of murder, right?
Oh
Um,
yeah, I love doing that. That always goes well.
yeah, Deception, Murder in Hong Kong, 2014, Jolly Thinkers. I mean, this game is fun. The game isn't about the pieces, it isn't about the mechanics, it's about the interaction that you have with the people that play it, and it's so human because all of it is just interpretation of imagery and just guessing, it's just throwing accusations around and seeing how people react to them. But it's really simple to learn, and honestly, the rules are pretty flexible in my opinion. We usually change them around to suit our group.
Oh
But
really?
just
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, there's lots of ways to kind of roll out the information throughout the course of the game, and it I don't know. I don't think it has to be too strict in this one because it's very, like I said, it's very human. But what happens is people have, I think, 5 pieces of evidence in front of them, and then 5 potential murder weapons in front of them. They're different colored cards, and honestly, they could be thought of as the same thing in a lot of cases too. But they're just pictures. It's like Harrison's got a vat of poison. He's got a,
No, I
a
don't.
machete. He's got a rifle and a rope or something in front of him. And then as the game typically unfolds, just like, how should I say this? It's very much like Werewolf in that all players are asked to close their eyes, and the murderer is supposed to be identified by the narrator. There's a detective that has to be identified. And then when the game actually happens, the detective is trying to give clues. I'm sorry, the forensic scientist is trying to give clues about what the murder was like and where it happened by putting little plastic bullets on these cards that have different options for them. So if it says like the body was warm, then you're looking at someone with a flamethrower and you're like, "Oh, that guy must have did it," right? But as that discussion's happening, the forensic scientist is still rolling out more information based on how the conversation's going to try to steer you in certain directions.
Hmm.
Have you played this?
I have not. No, and the way that you're describing it is making it sound like a much different game than I assumed it was.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't look like it plays because, and it's like a pretty big box. It looks like it's going to be more complicated than it is, but honestly, it could be like a pretty small little deck of cards. It's really all it is.
Yeah,
Um,
you're making it sound like a social party game,
yeah, it is.
closer to Mysterium or Dixit.
Right. Yep. Yeah, I
I
usually play this game in like a bar, for example.
Okay.
It's like that kind of setting.
Well, now I'm much more interested.
Yeah, and this would like I said, the whole point of this being a family vacation game. It's not so much the murder element of it, but I
Right.
think it's easy enough to teach, and I think people kind of understand what they're trying to do without having to actually know the rules because they body's warm. Okay, flamethrower, right? They can make that connection pretty quickly. So
Yeah, if you've ever seen an episode or walked by someone watching an episode of CSI, you can probably pick up on a lot of the themes here.
yeah, yeah.
Cool.
That is Deception, Murder in Hong Kong.
Corey, put it on the list. I
Oh
want to
yeah,
try this
it's
now.
not a very good two-player game, but we'll we'll have to get 5 or more probably to make it happen.
Okay.
Okay, so that's our list. We got Fox in the Forest Duet, Kinfire Delve, and Deception Murder in Hong Kong.
Fox in the Forest. Oh no! Oh, I messed up already. Oh gosh.
Good one job.
Oh no. Okay.
All right, now I got to click that important matter link real quick.
I picked A Gentle Rain, Flip 7, and Scout.
All right, pack them.
Back them up.
Pack them up. All right, let's move on to the outro. Harrison, what have you been playing, doing, watching outside of board games besides the Rick Astley video?
So besides getting got by Mr. Rick Astley, I have we beat Baldur's Gate 3. That was cool. We finally got the credit roll
Really?
on that. I think we did almost every single thing ever. Our journal was empty by the end. We were getting so close to the end. There's like these escalating threats that happens at the end of any like big RPG. And at one point it says, "You failed this quest." And I was like, "What? No, we were working on that. How could we fail it?" And well, it's because the person who had that item in their inventory was not with us at the moment that it mattered. So in like most other cases, the game will just like magic pocket over the item you need
Yeah.
from wherever it is in your inventory across any of your characters, and it just wasn't there. So we were
Oh.
just like, screw it, we're gonna fail this one. We're just moving on. So we didn't get to see the end of one character's story the way we wanted it, but I think we'll survive. It was a super cool game. I think our playthrough for everything said and done was like 104 hours. So yeah, that's good. That's good content.
Yeah. I'm impressed that you beat it. We were just talking about this the other day. We've started the game multiple times, and so have the people we were talking with, and are like, one of these days we gotta actually commit to this thing and get the dang thing played all the way through. Because I've only made it as far as the second act. And I'm not even in it yet. I'm like in the point where I'm ready to join the second act. But there's
Yeah.
a lot of game left after that, isn't there?
There's quite a lot of game after that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
So what's next then? You gonna play through it again?
Yeah, I've already started my own campaign again. I've mentioned that before on the show that I've like started my own side campaign several times, but I did it again, and we'll see if that happens because Monster Train still got me, uh, got a good grip on me. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, yeah.
But probably for the two of us, either we'll go back and play Divinity Original Sin 2 because that game is incredible, and we never finished the first time we played because it was on Steam Link and very bad quality.
Mm,
And then either that or Split Fiction because we have not played that one yet, and we really liked the last game from, was it It Takes Two?
oh, okay.
Uh,
I don't know.
yeah.
I've played It
So
Takes Two, though.
yeah, It Takes Two is great, and Split Fiction is like the follow up about two writers who get sucked into their own narrative worlds, and you got to play split screen couch co op with them.
Huh.
Yeah.
Going back to the Divinity thing, I just have to say, I think I like that game better than Baldur's Gate. And Divinity 2 is really good.
Oh, you got to be careful what you're saying, putting out there into the world, because we're going to get some haters if we say that Divinity's better than Baldur's Gate.
I'm sure
But
there's other people that would agree with that.
at the same
It's
time,
different enough.
it's a it feels like a cleaner system, right? Because it's not trying to adapt to, Dungeons and Dragons so one for one to a digital space.
Hmm.
But I think the storytelling and characters are better in Baldur's Gate, but
Yeah.
I think the gameplay is probably more fun in Divinity.
Yeah, the combat is really cool. How you can play with the environment in Divinity and like blow
Yeah,
up explosive barrels and stuff. And
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
There's some of that in Baldur's Gate, but
there
not as
is.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have too much new to say, but I did add the national parks on here because that's where I'm going and that's where I have been. Once again, the space time continuum thing. We just before we started recording, I was like, "Are we going to acknowledge that?" And Harrison's like, "No." And then in the first 3 seconds, that happened. Sorry, but it was only because you said the thing about packing.
Yep, yep. Just podcaster things.
Yeah. Well, anyways, I'm going to the national parks, and I want to just point this out because we talk about board games a lot, and obviously that's a thing that if you're at the end of a 1 hour board game podcast, you must care about those things. But I want to just offer an alternative to board games that is completely different, and the national parks is a really affordable alternative because it's like $30 to get into a national park for the day, or I think it's like $70 for a year pass. And it truly is like being in a whole new world in some cases. I mean, we've been to Glacier, we've been to Zion, we've been to Joshua Tree. Good vacation destinations that aren't like going to Disney and, selling a kidney to get admission and $25 a drink at the park. It's you'll have to probably shop at REI a little bit to get geared up, but
So what do you say to the poo-pooers who are like, so what do you do at the park? Just walk?
yeah, you just walk. Yeah, well, you drive in a lot of cases, you can drive through them. Like, Glacier is a
Okay.
huge park. You can get in your car and you can drive the trail, and it'll take you like an hour and a half. And there's plenty of spots that you park the car, you get out, take some pictures, get back in the car and go. But if you don't wanna do hiking, there's different levels of that. I mean, there's the backpacking trips where you get a permit and you're out into the wilderness for 3 days at a time. We don't do that, we're not that hardcore. But a lot of the day hikes could be 1 mile, 2 miles. Some of them are like 8 miles long, and you get those done in a couple hours, bring enough
Mom
water.
spaghetti.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Yeah. But I don't know, it's really fun, and it was something that my family never did growing up, so I kinda discovered it as an adult, and I wish I had gone sooner because there's so much out there and so much cool stuff to see, and yeah, we're going to Badlands and, Wind Cave this week, and I'll report back on what those are like when I return, unless I
Cool.
get eaten by bats.
Yep. Or wind.
Yeah. All right. I think we close out on that, Harrison.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's wrap it up.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Adamantly Analog is Corey Murphy and Harrison Dunn. Original themes and bumper music by Corey Murphy. Reach us at adamantlyanalog@gmail.com. Thank you for listening.